Good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Hong Kong. Over here, Hong Kong Island. And I think that's where I'm headed today. I'm not sure. Where I am now is Kowloon. I'll give you a quick look. That is Kowloon, and I'd already been advised that this wasn't the place to stay. It is not the touristy area, but here we are. Let's make our way. I've got to catch a bus from somewhere around here, I don't know where, and make our way to the main part of Hong Kong. That is my bus. I don't think I'm going to make it. There it goes. Never mind, I've got all day. This is my first actual venture out from my hotel room, which, as I said, is somewhere in there. I went out for breakfast, late breakfast, yesterday. And the lady looked at me very strangely and said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Just tourists." She said, "Not here. No, come here. No, come here." Apparently back in the day it might have been a less desirable place to stay here in Hong Kong. I think times have changed. I haven't seen any problems. We have made it. It is so hot. It's 34 degrees Celsius. The humidity is just out of control. I need to find a drink, and I haven't had a meat pie for, I can't remember. It's been so long. And I think I know where to find one. It might be down here. Maybe I should check the map first. According to Google, this is the place. If there's going to be one, it's going to be one here. I'll let you know how I go. Got my pie. Not your normal pie. What did it say? Thai beef red curry pie. It's okay. It's hot. That's where we are right now. Ting Sa Toi. I think I've got that right. Ting Sa Toi. Sounds good to me. It's better than the first one I was going to go with. Let's have a look around Ting Sa Toi. The bamboo scaffolding there. I think this is, they're trying to phase it out here in Hong Kong. Safety concerns. There's a building in my district in Kowloon, which would have to be I'm not sure, 18, 20-story building that is covered in bamboo scaffolding, and I don't know, is it safe? They've been using it for many, many years, so I'm not sure. Nothing. Had my meat pie, the Thai red curry beef meat pie with a cappuccino. I don't know why I got a cappuccino, but it got me going again. But now I need a proper drink because, as I said, it is so warm. It is not funny. I'm sweating badly. Got myself a nice green tea. Cold drink, which is very nice actually, and I think there's a festival. Actually, I know there's a festival. It's on at the what do you call it? It's the Victoria Harbour, so it's the harbour front, or is it just the harbour? I don't know. Let's walk down there have a look. Past what could be an old colonial building. Not too sure. It's now the Peninsula Arcade, full of the high-end stores, Chanel, Louis Vuitton. Of course, Hong Kong was under British rule for many, many years. I can't remember when it transferred back to its own territory. Even though I'm on the Chinese mainland, this is separate. Still, it's an autonomous state in its own right. For how long? I don't know. But I do know if I was to jump on a train here and head inland before, you know, a longish, it's not that far, it's a 40-minute fast train ride, I would have to go through customs and show my passport and do all that jazz because I'd be leaving Hong Kong and going to mainland China. We are getting close. I remember seeing that on the map. The Hong Kong Museum of Art, just over there. I'm looking for a seat. I need to rest for a second. Maybe a few minutes. I probably should have packed my umbrella. It's late June and the weather is unpredictable, to say the least. My flight here I came from Budapest to Shanghai, then Shanghai to Hong Kong, and we circled offshore near the airport at Hong Kong for 40 minutes due to storms, code black storms. So, as I said, the weather can be pretty unpredictable. Here's the waterfront. There we have it. There's the waterfront. Now, is that Hong Kong Island over there? I think it is. Looks like the fancy side of town anyway. There's the Shangri-La Hotel and the Conrad Hotel and some very other fancy ones. I would have a look at my map on my phone, but my map is doing the things that it does whenever you get to China. Like, I can be looking at something and I'll look at it on my phone to try and figure out what it is, the building. Or, for example, I was looking at a mountain and I knew what the mountain was, and I was looking on my phone and the phone said I was looking at in a completely different direction. That's just the way it works here. Google Maps, clearly, I know they couldn't be trusted in China, clearly can't be trusted in Hong Kong either. Very annoying. There's a whole bunch of cafes and bars and restaurants along the waterfront here, and I reckon they're going to be pretty expensive. I had yesterday a breakfast without bothering to look at the price, and I was in the Hong Kong Jockey Club, famous club, and I didn't really think too much about it. Ended up costing me 40 Australian dollars for basically bacon and eggs with a bit of salad. So I won't be doing that again. I've got to pay attention to what's going on. Now, what's going on, there's supposed to be, I'll tell you what there was supposed to be. There's a dragon festival on. It started 2 days ago and it's supposed to go for almost 2 weeks. I thought today would have been it's a Sunday. I thought today would have been an ideal day to come down and have a look, but I haven't seen anything yet. It's an international festival, so a lot of teams competing. Nice looking tour boat there, harbour tour. No, thank you, darling. Very big, very nice. So just to the right of that tall building there is Victoria Peak, a famous landmark here in Hong Kong. You can walk up there if you're, well, there's a tramway that goes up there, or most of the way up there, so I've heard, and then you can walk the rest of the way. Yeah, no. Where are these dragon boats? That's what I want to know. Been down here for well over half an hour along the waterfront now, and I've seen nothing. And this is exactly where they were supposed to be. So it's just walk over the other side here, and I don't know, maybe they're over there. The thing is, I haven't seen anywhere where they would dock a dragon boat to get on or off. But more importantly, I haven't even seen any out on the water, you know, paddling like crazy as they do. 1881 heritage. I'm not sure. Look, this white building up here, I'm sure that's old. I'm not sure about the rest of this. I really am not. But it's in a prime location here in Hong Kong. So this is called 1881 Heritage. So does that mean it was built in 1881? It could be, because from the brief research that I'd done, I think the oldest building, colonial building here, was 1850, which, when you think about it, is not long after the British took control of Hong Kong. And if you want to hear, I'll tell you about it. Just looking at this building, I'll show you. I don't know, if it's old, it's in extremely good condition. So I really don't know. But this isn't the way I wanted to walk. I've got to go back that way. Hey, there's the old clock tower, which I walked straight past. I didn't notice because it's covered in scaffolding, not bamboo this time. So back before the first Opium War, there wasn't much here in Hong Kong. You know, Chinese people will beg to differ. There was, they say, around 7,500 inhabitants on what the British called a barren rock. Not sure what's going on here, but I'll get away. What are they doing here? The Sikh community volunteer force. No, thank you, my friend. It's okay. I have one. Thank you so much. I don't know what they're campaigning for. Something, there's a picture of maybe a town hall. I'm not sure. Let's get away from the noise. Alright, so let me start that again. My apologies. So after the first Opium War, which I think was in 1841, which the Opium War was exactly that, the British had been illegally importing, I might add, opium into China. China had quite an insatiable appetite for the stuff, and they would bring that in, import that in exchange for Chinese tea, which of course the British had an insatiable appetite for. Now, which way to walk? There's nothing down there. Let's have a quick look through here first. No, there's nothing up that way. This is the ocean terminal. I guess this is where the large ships port would be my guess. The British were looking for an economic port where they could conduct their trade, store their goods, and have a naval presence here so that they could, you know, protect themselves from whatever attack that they presumed they were protecting themselves from. At one stage, just prior to them actually getting control of Hong Kong, one of I think it was like the Secretary of State, it wasn't, but something like that, of Britain said there is no economic good in getting this barren rock. And by this barren rock, he meant that island right there, Hong Kong Island. And the reason it was called that was because although there wasn't that many inhabitants, as I said, 7,500. Sorry, Daddy. Let's get out of this crowd. So there was 7,500 people, roughly, that inhabited Hong Kong Island. There was thousands of fishermen who were based in the Victoria Harbour, which it wouldn't have been known as that at that stage, and they had largely deforested the island. There wasn't many trees left at all. Apparently it was highly eroded. Well, that guy turned out to be wrong in the end. Hong Kong became a major financial hub in later years. I came into this quite upmarket shopping mall to find a seat to rest my weary bones, and there's not a single seat in the whole thing, and it is enormous. So on with the story anyway, while I try and find an exit out of this place. Excuse me for looking around, I'm just very interested. I should show you guys as well and talk at the same time. There's some sort of wild looking car down there. Let's make that our first stop. So after the first Opium War, there was of course the second Opium War, and which again, resulted, it was the same old thing. The British wanted to import all the opium into China for the Chinese people to consume, and in exchange they received their Chinese tea. The Chinese lost that war as well, and that resulted in a second treaty in 1860. That treaty gave England the control of I think it's the southern tip, don't quote me, of the Kowloon Peninsula, pretty much where my hotel is. So, they got to expand their territories and create more havoc on the Chinese people with all their opium importation. And as a side note, don't quote me on this, I think it was the wife of the Chinese emperor who really, really did not like the importation of opium into China. She could see the effect that it was having on the population, not only in general, but on the productivity of the population. It wasn't good. And I believe she was a huge advocate for trying to bring an end to it all. In this story, I don't know how successful she was. Here's that car I was looking at. Wow, check that out. It is a Space Rangers car. I'm not even sure what it was originally. No clue. Oh, yes I do. It's an R32 Skyline. Oh yeah, you can see, well, the round tail lights there. Looks different, that's for sure. I don't like it. Just here I found an exit. I don't know whether it's the exit I wanted, but I have found an exit. Straight back out into the stifling heat. Okay, not sure where I am. Finally made my way back out onto the street. And man, I could do with a beer. primarily so I can sit down somewhere. I wonder if that's going to be an option. We'll see. So where was I? Oh, the third and final acquisition of territory or land here in Hong Kong by the British was under the second convention of Peking in 1898. Now, unlike the first two, which gave the British ownership of the land forever and ever, the third treaty gave them a 99-year lease. And that treaty or that convention had a bearing on what was to come for Hong Kong far into the future. Where's that bar? I will say one thing, and it's a very good thing, is that Hong Kong is one of the cleanest cities I've ever been to. Previously, Malaysia, in particular Kuala Lumpur, was the cleanest city I'd been to, but this tops that by far. Very impressive. Even a lot of the European cities that I was just in they were relatively clean. I mean, not the rubbish strewn around like some cities you see in Southeast Asia, of course, but the one thing I noticed about the European cities was cigarette butts absolutely everywhere. Just you stop at a bus stop and there's just cigarette butts just scattered around. I think I want to cross here. Hey, there's the Apple store if I want to get my phone. Interesting. Do I want to fork out a whole heap of money? I'm not sure. I had a look. They do have the phone that I need in here, but it's far too busy, and I used the time in there while I was resting on their seat. The only seat that I've found so far in Hong Kong is to look up some other options, and it turns out there's another option, and the store is just less than 400 metres away. Let's go and check it out. Found an escalator to save me walking up a whole heap of stairs. Hong Kong needs more seats. So back to this 99-year lease that was signed in 1898 for the British. I wonder which way I should I have no idea. That gave control back to China in 1997. Yeah, July 1st, 1997, it was handed back over to Chinese control. They were supposed to retain some rights, some of the, not rights, I'm not sure of the word for it, I'm not that smart. It wasn't going to come completely without some benefit to the Chinese, to the Chinese residents and citizens of Hong Kong. Whether it actually turned out that way is open to interpretation. I don't want to say too much on that sort of part of it, because some of my Chinese viewers get very, a little bit upset if they conceive that I'm putting China down in any way, shape or form, which I'm not. I never do that in any city that I've been to, especially not while I'm there. So as far as the British being in Hong Kong, that's about all I've got. I'm sure there were plenty of atrocities and not nice things that went on, but that's all I've got for you for now. I've had a fail too, by the way, on my phone. This is not good news. More in a second. So my brainwave while I was sitting in the iPhone store cooling down and taking advantage of their seat was to get a magnetic pack that goes onto the back of the phone and uses the wireless charging that's available with my phone, that even though it's as old as the hills, 6 years old, does support the wireless charging. I can buy one of those packs here for, I don't know, about $80 Australian, but you can't buy the magnetic strips that you need to be able to clip it onto the phone. If my phone was 1 year newer, it would have just gone bangs and stuck on there. I need a special adapter, which they don't sell here in Hong Kong. So I've been told. I will keep looking. I just don't want to fork out the money. It's the base model phone here in Hong Kong is about, I don't know, 1,200 Australian dollars. I don't want to spend that amount of money. Maybe I'm going to have to. So I had a look on ChatGPT, which I've said time and time again, do not trust them. And they say that the magnetic strip that I'm looking for is available here in Hong Kong. On the same hand, it also tells me that there is a place that sells beer, as in a bar, right here. And there is not. Unless it's up there. Let's have a look. Something weird has just happened. Oh no. Here it is. Are we back? This is what I mean about my phone. Oh no, it's back. That's it. Number 18 Ashley Road. I still haven't fixed that flickering. Still got it on the wrong frame rate. And that is not the, well, it is the address, but there's nothing there. No beers available. That was supposed to be the In Time bar. I was in time and they are not there. But look at what I found. Just down the road. How's that? There's one here, the Ashley Road Trading Company, restaurant and bar. And just over the road there, the Kowloon Tap Room. Let's try the Ashley Road Trading Company. Alright, finally found the bar. We're in here for a beer. Talking to a couple of compatriots from the Southern Hemisphere here. Thanks for watching this video from Hong Kong. Probably another one to come, and I'll see you then. Thanks again. Bye bye.